Cooler MASTERAIR Ma620P CPU Cooler Opinion. Up front, with the Ma620P there is much to like. We like the aggressive styling added to the top of the cooler. We like that Cooler Master includes a way for RGB motherboard users and those without RGB a way to customize the cooler in various colors, modes, and brightness levels. We like that the cooler is nearly silent while in operation, whether running stock or with the system overclocked. We even liked the finished look of the dual tower cooler once installed on our test system, as we could match the color. The matte black looked right at home, and, for the most part, clearance around the cooler is adequate, but most times excellent. However, in this specific instance, we have much to dissuade buyers to report as well. Starting from the jump, we got a nearly perfect cooler, but with the second fan touching the top of the first tower, we knew things went askew somewhere down the line. While we have no issue stretching the cooler back into shape, not many at home would feel good about it, and may not be as careful about it as needed. Going forward, it wasn't until it came time to mount the cooler that we ran into our next point. While we made it work with the memory we use with all coolers and do not like the fact we still had to force a stick into a slot with the fans off, but it still is not as bad as the mounting. In the beginning, everything is easy going, until it comes time to secure the tower to the rest of the hardware with nuts. Trying to get the nut on the threads with minimal room is hard enough, but then when the motherboard coolers and rear I/O are in the way, and the memory is in the way, and the wrench is cheap and slips off a lot, it just makes the experience such a downer. However, once together, the cooler is solid as a rock and ready for whatever you can throw at it, which brings us to our last point. Even at the price it is, compared to other dual tower designs, the performance of a tower this big is not there. We expected more from this design, but in the battle of cost, performance, and silence, it is obvious which of the two won out. If you had not read this review, and you saw this dual tower MASTERAIR Ma620P on the shelf, you might think that the $59.99 cooler is a steal. You may even think to yourself that this is something that can keep up with some of the chart-topping air coolers from other manufacturers, but the sad reality is that it doesn't. Will the Ma620P keep you from throttling, save you some cash, and allow some headroom for an overclock? It certainly will. Our mission is to keep you informed of all things cooling, and with that in mind, it is hard to recommend this over something like the Freezer series, or pretty much anything scythe in the last year, or even saving over something as extravagant as the NHD15. So, even though the Ma620P and what it showed us here is not the worst out there, we feel that there are too many competitors to opt for something this large and this difficult to install. The MASTERAIR Ma620P will do what an aftermarket cooler should do, and offers RGB with multiple means of control. We just feel that the bang for the buck is low, and there are too many considerations that need to be made to use it.